Who is Harvard's woman in black? There's a lot of ghosts called the Lady in Black, but at Harvard, it's this girl named Emily Pickham, who in the 1790s has gone a courtin'. It's winter, and she and her fiance are dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh. An open sleigh is a really bad idea, especially without seatbelts. They hit this snowbank, they go bouncing up, the entire sleigh overturns, and she and her fiance are dashed out of it. She giggles, she brushes the snow off, she goes over to him, and she sees something horrific, which is the sleigh had actually gone right over him, and there was a spur in the rail, and it's cut him wide open, and she can do nothing except watch him as he desperately looks into her eyes as the life drains out of it. She's so upset that she asks her family if he can be put in the family burial plot. It is one of these box tombs. The box tombs in Boston burying grounds are not above ground graves like in New Orleans. We're not trying to keep it free of the flood. They're more like chimneys that lead into a room of an underground vault of 8 to 12 shells where you can be stacked and buried for all of eternity with your families. He takes her spot, and she, unfortunately, is seen a couple of days later in the burying ground. She has dug up the entryway, and she is down in the tomb. The family says, "You can't do that anymore," but she continues to do this for the next several weeks until one night she comes home and screams the family awake. They say, "What's the matter?" She says, "He's gone. He's gone." They really don't know what happened, but they go down there, and he is gone. His body is not there. Unfortunately, that's because in the 1790s, Harvard had just begun its medical school, and there's this lovely industry called the resurrection men, and this is guys who Harvard will pay for a body $25, no questions asked, because it's very difficult to get a body for science in those days. The only legal way to get one is if there's a prisoner who's been executed and his body has not been claimed by anybody. And so they will pay $25 to anybody. The problem is, how do you tell the difference between an executed prisoner and just some random wealthy guy who's in a burying plot if they're both deceased and naked? And the answer is you can't, which is why the resurrection men are found in the middle of Harvard Square wearing a jacket of his, and it's very clear what has actually happened. Unfortunately, the body cannot be recovered because anatomy students had had their way with it, and Emily Pickham spends the next several winters, every time it snows, it reminds her of her fiance, and she will wander over into Harvard's medical school, which was Holden Chapel in those days. Eventually, she is also going to expire. They do put her in her proper spot in the burying ground, but every fresh snow, Harvard freshmen living on the yard report seeing about 2 to 3 o'clock in the morning a woman dressed in all black passing through fences, gates, and traffic and wandering into Holden Chapel, apparently looking for her lost loved one.